All right, everybody. We'll be starting in just a minute. I'm just making sure that everything, if I can. So just give me just a minute. Hmm. No. I need to copy the link. Give people a chance to come on as well. Sharing the video to the group and on Facebook. All right. So, in case you didn't already know, this is the Q&A for the channel. I've been meaning to do it all month last month, but the last class that I was in was really extremely hectic, and I was having a lot of technical issues and internet problems and stuff for a lot of the month. So, yeah, I just now had a chance to do it, and I'm getting ready to leave like 5 in the morning Wednesday to go to New York to pick up my boyfriend Alex, who's flying in from the UK, and we're going to spend a few days up there and see the fireworks and everything before coming back down here. So this is literally the only chance I've had to do this. So I'm gonna if anyone wants to comment and ask some questions while I'm live, I will answer those. But otherwise, I have a couple that I wrote down from the comments over the last couple of months. And so I'm going to be reading those. And then I may just talk about some stuff that I think is important that I have been asked, but maybe it wasn't put in a comment. So all right. So, a question that I get asked a lot is what the outcome was of the court case and of the appeals, either one or the other. I get asked this question a lot on some of my older videos, and so just so it's put out right here, I do not have custody of my children. I lost the custody case, and all of my appeals were denied. And it was going to go to the U.S. Supreme Court, but um, their their rules are like so strict for what you have to do to even file an appeal, and it's within such a short time period that somebody in my situation would have never been able to have gotten that in. And so, but I did appeal to the Court of Appeals and also to the North Carolina State of Supreme Court. Um, so I did get my appeals in for them. Both of them were denied. And I not only lost custody, but I also do not have my parental rights, so I can't even try to legally get visitation or anything like that. So just that being out the way, that was the outcome of the court hearings and of both appeals. Um, so then the other question that I get asked a lot is, where are the kids? So for for that, I'm gonna kind of go through the timelines and everything. So at the beginning of the case, my kids were with my mother, as they should have been and should still be. But before like the last year of the case, they ended up being removed from my mother's home when I got a new caseworker. And she was like, I don't know, just prejudiced and anti family. Um, but so she removed them from my mom's home based on allegations that was living there. Um, so um, then they went to a foster home locally that couldn't handle them, and then very quickly went to another foster home. And my son ended up being kicked out of that home because they only wanted my daughter. And the CPS worker let them do that because they're like, they wanted to adopt my daughter, but they didn't want to adopt my son. They said that he was having problems adjusting. So that's what happened there. And he was put in a level 2 therapeutic home to work on his behavior issues, none of which he had before being placed into foster care, by the way. He didn't have any behavior issues at all before the case started. And even the ones he developed after losing me and was at my mom's was still very minor compared to any of the behaviors that I've heard people say that he has developed since not being at my mother's. Um, so and that's basically how it ended. They were like, "Well, we don't know what's going to happen to him," even though I had gotten family from South Carolina, to come and get the kids, and to try to become foster parents. And they did all that, and they were still resistant to that. But after everything ended, they were just going to let my daughter be adopted by the place she was at, and my son was just not going to have a home. And so after stopping them from being able to adopt my daughter by putting in so many appeals, then she got older and started having behavior problems herself, called being a toddler. And they decided that they didn't want her either. And so somehow during all this, with me putting in so many appeals and everything and extending the time, my sister was able to get my son. And I guess last year she ended up getting my daughter. I don't know, because ever since the case ended, she kind of stopped talking to me. So I'm not really sure on the times when they ended up there. But I do know both my children are finally together, which was what I was fighting for in both my appeals. And with the state in North Carolina, I was calling legislators and everything to try to get them to be placed together. And so they have finally been placed together with my sister in South Carolina. I live in North Carolina. So let's see, why or will my sister not let me see my kids? No. There's actually another video of that, which a lot of people have asked, like, well, why didn't you call? Or um like, like, why did you just show up? And there's a very long story to that, but the shortest way that I can tell it, because I may eventually talk about the longer story in the future eventually. But the short story, just for now, is that, again, my sister did not keep in contact with me. For some reason, she just stopped talking to me entirely once it was realized I wasn't going to get the kids. And what I believe happened, I'm not saying this happened, but what I believe happened is both her and my grandmother were in collusions with CPS, I know that sounds like a weird word to use, but I can't think of a better one right now. Um, so they were, involved with CPS and basically going behind me and my mother's back, talking bad about us to CPS to try to look good to CPS so they would end up with the kids instead of us. I actually really feel like if they hadn't have showed up to court and if they wouldn't have been involved in our lives at all, then me and my mother would have gotten the kids back, instead of them getting them. So I really feel like they're a big part of the reason why we didn't. But like I said, that's just a belief. I don't have any proof of this per se, other than their actions, which was, clearly, they were trying to befriend the enemy, the opposite side. And they were also um, hiding information from us. And so that's kind of what led me to believe that they were actually against us the whole time, along with past behaviors, which, like I said, is a much bigger story that I can't get into right now. Um, so no, my sister won't. She didn't answer any messages. She still won't answer any messages. So I don't know. She just will not contact me and will not respond to requests for me to speak to her. Um, as a matter of fact, when I had brought the presents there, I'm like, okay, well, I understand like this being sudden and her not wanting to see me or not wanting the kids to see me, but could she at least, give them this stuff from me? Like she don't even have to say it's from me. Um, so I don't know what her deal is because that's a whole nother side to this situation, and I do not have any information to speak for her as far as why. We can speculate all day long, but right now we just have no idea why things are the way they are. But she will not let me see them. Another question I've gotten a couple times was, does my mom at least get to see them? And she doesn't. Um, it seems like the way my family works is they like to put people on teams, and like my grandmother and sister have their team, and then me and my mom are like seen as a team together that they're against, or that they think we're against them or whatever. And so they just see my mother as another part of me, which is why she's not allowed to see the kids either. And they actually seem to be trying to isolate the kids from family because I've heard from my uncle that they will not let him see the kids either, even though he's supposed to be like kind of like on their team. But he's kind of like in the middle area because he lives up here close to me and my mom now. And he's, been a support for us, and there's been situations in the past where he let like information slip or whatever, that they didn't want people to find out, and rather they didn't want me or my mom to find out. Like I said, this was like years ago in the past. And so, he's just kind of like in the middle. So I think that's why, is because of how close he is with me and mom, then he's considered to not be trustworthy. And they're also, I think, trying to like isolate them from all family because they have been so, I don't know what the word is. It's like they're isolating themselves so that they can have complete control over the children, and so they're isolating everyone else out the family, which is kind of weird because it's like, don't you realize when they get older that the more people you've isolated them from in the family, the more bad you're going to look? Like, you could probably get away with not letting them see me if you let them see everyone else in the family. But for you to isolate them from everyone in the family, I mean, it's just going to make you look bad. So I don't know what they're thinking. Um, but like I said, I don't really have any other information right now. I have heard some things, and I've actually seen some things through the grapevine involving my kids that I'm not going to get into right now because I don't really want to share my. I don't want to risk sharing my sources of information, um, and then not have any information at all. But basically, everything is just kind of at a standstill right now, as far as the kids. Um, as far as me right now, what's going on with me is I am in school at Full Sail University. I may have mentioned that a few times. And I'm going to school for game design. Um, it's an intensive 29-month program for a bachelor's degree in game design. Um, I just got a little bit of a taste of that this past month, which is why I've been so busy, is because it was like an introduction to game design. And so it's like you had to like do all of these different aspects of game design, like the art and the coding and like everything all at one time. And it's like when you don't know anything about it at all. And so it was, and then with the tech issues and everything, it was very, very overwhelming this past month. Um, but other than that, I'm doing pretty good. I wish I had more time to be on YouTube with everyone, especially because I have other YouTube channels that I'm wanting to work on. I have a spiritual channel that's kind of new that I need to continue making videos for because I'm really interested in that kind of thing. And then I have the entertainment gaming channel, which, Lord, I haven't put anything on there in forever. So I would just really like to be able to be more productive. Here lately, I've not really had much energy or not much energy to do anything when I did have time, but then also just not having a lot of time. So I'm hoping things will get better. I'm on a week break this week, which is great because, like I said, I have to go to New York this week. So, um, also, if you would like, I'm going to try to put it in. Hold on. I'm going to put the link in the description here if I can. Um, for my uh, groups, let me see, manage groups. We have the Life After Loss group. I don't know if I'm going to be changing the name for that or not. But let me get the link. I'm going to drop this in the. No, I don't want to do that. I want the link. There we go. So this here. Why is this not working? Okay, there we go. I had to make a message go away for it to work. So this link here, this is for the Life After Loss. This is for people who have lost their children to CPS or any other way. If you lost them to cancer, anything like that. Like the loss of a child is unexplainable and something that a parent should never have to go through, no matter what the circumstances are. And then this one, the second link, this is for anybody who is going through stuff with CPS. And it is Amanda Brown's CPS Reform Group. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I put it in there right. Okay. Okay, so that the second one, well, I clicked the other one too soon, but the second one, it's all together, Amanda Brown CPS Reform Group. That is for anyone who is going through anything with CPS or has went through anything with CPS, or just anyone who wants to support our country having CPS reform. We're going to try to start with the state in North Carolina, that's the NC, North Carolina CPS reform. because it is one of the worst CPS states in the entire country. Seriously. If you look up Wilkes County CPS, it's like in the top 10 worst CPS counties in the entire country. And that's the county that I happen to be in. So North Carolina CPS reform, but ultimately we need to have CPS reform nationwide. So if you would like to support that, you can join the group. Also, too, if you want to share your stories, feel free to join the group as well. And again, the Life After Loss is available on there too. There's only like 5 people in it right now. Um, I'm hoping that we'll get more people so that there'll be some more conversations and stuff. And again, I hope I'll have some more time so I can interact more with you guys. But anyway, I guess that's it. I don't think anyone has any more questions. I haven't gotten any more notifications of questions either. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. And I really appreciate all of y'all's love and support. And, you know, even if you don't support my channel or my cause, I'm still grateful that you came by and visited it. So bye. Thanks for watching.